You need me to hold the door for you? Well, here we are in Marine Park, Brooklyn at St. Columba's Church. Now, I have to tell you, this is a very special episode for me because my first episode on City of Churches was St. John the Evangelist Church. Now, after we moved from there, we came to Marine Park, and this became my church. Now, I had my confirmation here, and believe it or not, I was married here. On June 12th was my 30th anniversary. It was a great day, and there was a lot of people up here on this stand here with me. My dad, my brothers, Teresa's family, my wife Teresa's family. It was a great time. I'm going to show you some great pictures. And this is a great church with a lot of great stories about this place. And I want to take you on a little journey because it comes from the heart here. And I think you're going to enjoy it. So I'll tell you what, later on we're going to come back and meet Father Tim. But right now, I'd like to take you on a little tour. So follow me. You know, I'm standing in front of this statue of Jesus. It's kind of special to me because on the night when my father came home and told me my mother was, well, she had terminal cancer, I actually came here and prayed at this statue. It must have been like 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. So it's kind of weird just standing. Every time I pass it, it brings back, you know, memories that were good and bad. And behind there, going towards Flatbush Avenue, this is area when I was telling you there was some great, fantastic, well-known nightclubs. Ben Maxix, the Airport Lounge. My dad sang at these places. Famous people, Judy Garland, Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. And in this area, there was a hill that went up to where they actually went and prayed before the church was ever built. Now I'm going to show you some other stuff across the street where my wife's family owned the property around this area, right by the church. So come on, I want to show you this. So this whole area was basically what we would call like creek land. And my wife's family owned this property all around the church. This whole area here leading back to this house, which was her Aunt Bertha's, where this building is being constructed. And I remember her Uncle Danny used to have horses over there, and he brought it over here, and I used to ride them as a kid. So we used to sneak down here and ride horses as a kid in Brooklyn. It's pretty funny. But all this was surrounding area was my wife's family's. Now I want to take you around the corner to our other aunt's house. Now their aunts they're not alive anymore, and neither is the priest, Father Ed, who married us. But I want to show you the house that they had. Teresa's grandmother, Lulu, used to do the laundry. She used to do the ironing for the priest and stuff. So follow me as I take you a little bit around the corner here to show you this. Now, as I was telling you before, we were at Aunt Bertha's house. Now we're at Auntie Francie's house. Now, Auntie Francie lived right across from the church as well. So they basically had all this property. As a kid, I remember this whole yard. I used to come in here. There was a pole. And I'll always remember there was a little Mr. Magoo's head, the character Mr. Magoo. I wanted that thing for so long, and then when they sold the house, it was gone. But Father Ed, Teresa's cousin, married us here at St. Columba Church. He lived here as well when he wasn't in Peru. Now this area changed so much over the years. Over that way used to be the King's Plaza Diner. That was a hangout of mine as a kid. Always used to go there. Well, everybody used to go there. It's a shame I miss it so much. But as you can see, I'll have pictures to show you about how cool this area was. It was basically all creek, and then it built up over the years. So now we're gonna head over to where I moved to after coming from 22nd Street in Park Slope. So come on, we're gonna go. You know, as a kid, you hear these stories. Everybody in the neighborhood had famous places that was supposed to scare you so much. This was called Dead Man's Alley. And we used to come down there on a bike. Now to look at it now, it's nothing. It's nothing. But to a 9-year-old kid, it was like the biggest steep roller coaster you ever saw in your life. We used to come here and come down this way and go up that way. You know, you take for granted those memories you had as a kid when you look back now, and they were precious. Because those are moments you can never relive again, but you got them in here, and it's really amazing to look at something like this. So come on, we got some more stuff to show you. Dead Man's Alley. Well, here we are on East 35th Street between T and U. And this was the house that I moved into when we moved from Park Slope, from 22nd Street. And I have to tell you, for 3 kids, I was 9 and my brothers were 5. It was like moving into a mansion, from this little 2-bedroom apartment into this. And it wound up being very hard in the beginning, but then this neighborhood grew on me. You know, I had so many great memories here. And my mom, she was like an antique, crazy kind of person. And my house eventually became all antiques. With 3 boys in that house, I have to tell you, we should have opened up an antique shop. Because all the things we broke that we had to glue back together so nobody knew, we were perfect at it. I wound up telling my father that years later after my mom passed. But this was such a great place. I mean, I had a lot of great friends in this neighborhood, and they're all moved away now. But I'm going to take you on a little tour, but this was a memorable place. I used to run up these steps as a kid. You know what? I still can do it. That was one of my favorite things to do when I was a kid. This place, to me and my brothers, it was a great time. And I come by a lot sometimes, just passing by, because right there was my mom and dad's room. So it always brings back, you know, mixed memories of great times and times when my mother was sick. But it was great. I want to take you up on East 35th Street now, and up to Avenue S, and show you all the great stores and all the memorable places that I've been in and the places I worked at as a kid. So come on, we're gonna go take a walk. So right here, I'm on Avenue T in East 35th Street. I had so many stories that I could go through as a kid, from playing every kind of sport, riding on bicycles, and that way was Marine Park, which was also, we're gonna show you in a little while about that. But as we're going, I'm gonna still tell you, we're gonna go up to Avenue S. I think I delivered to almost every house in this neighborhood as a kid, between Met Food and Romano's Pizzeria, the dry cleaners and the paper route. I knew everybody as a kid. So come on, we're having a little fun here. Now this used to be Met Food, okay? And I worked here a lot as a delivery kid. I started at 12 years old. There used to be a butcher shop here, right next to it, right? But now it's Sundays by the park, and it's the same owners of the guys that own the hardware store, good friends of mine. On that corner there, the candy store, I started there as a kid folding papers. And across the street is a cleaners. I delivered dry cleaning all around the neighborhood on my bike. Now this area, some of it's changed, some of it's still the same. See, there's a deli and grocery store. There used to be the Happy Cow. Jackie's Deli was over there, but now it's on this side. Banner's Glass, the Mariners Inn, that's been there. That's like a landmark. It's the neighborhood bar. You see here, this is Marine Park Hardware Store. Now these guys, they also own the ice cream parlor over there, but this used to be called Louie's Hardware Store. Now Louie, he was a landmark, God rest his soul. Whenever you needed something, you would come in here and he'd have it. My father would send me down here for something, and believe it or not, Louie would find it. He had everything you could imagine. And these guys have kept it going, and it's nice to see that in this little community here, because this area has come back so strong now. But I gotta give them a lot of credit, and if you're around Marine Park Hardware, these guys got everything you can imagine. Now right here is Pizza Emporium. Now this used to be called Romano's Pizzeria. Now I worked there as a kid, and I delivered pizza, and I delivered it in this little yellow, like, truck, little, like, old post office truck that looked like the truck that Fred Astaire did in Santa Claus is Coming to Town. It was really cute. And now there's so many other stores here that are still here. They've changed a little bit. There was another candy store there, but it brings back such memories, because I used to love coming down here. Almost makes me want to move back. I'm serious. But I'm going to start walking this way towards Marine Park. So right there, across the street there, that building there, that used to be called the Creek. Now, as a kid, we used to go in there, and we used to ride our bikes, archery, We used to build forts. We used to hang out there, and there were cement pilings back there. Huge cement pilings that they removed eventually that we were able to hang out on and jump from one to the other. My mother knew about it. She would have killed us because all of us would go down there and we'd just go hang out. And we used to crab down there, and we used to go for guppies, these little fish. And now it's basically a nature reserve, and people actually pay to go in there. When we were kids, we had free reign of everything. And here we are in Marine Park. Now I got a lot of history in this park. You know, coming from a kid living on 22nd Street and playing stickball and football in the street, which was great. It was amazing as a kid. But to come to this is like hitting the lottery as a kid. A park. It's a beautiful park. I played baseball here. Actually, me and my brothers played for St. Columba, which now my nephew Thomas is playing for them, which is pretty cool. And I played football for Hurricane football right here. It was the Huskies I was on. Now you can see, no one's really here right now, but this place, when the weather warms up and on the weekends, it is jammed, completely packed. Families come from all over to hang out. They actually play cricket down there by Avenue U. I mean, people would literally come bike riding, roller skating, staying in shape. I had such great times. You could see all these baseball diamonds, the fields, and tennis courts jam-packed every weekend. Now, you can hear in the background, I guess it's like lunchtime for the kids. That school over there is Marine Park. And I went to that school and I graduated there after going from PS 207. I tell you, it makes me want to come back here. You know, there's no place like home. So come with me. I'm going to show you some more sights here in Marine Park, Brooklyn. So we're here on Flatbush Avenue now. As you can see behind me, that's the Kings Plaza Mall. Now that's changed drastically, and they're doing renovations now. But it used to be Alexander's and Macy's. Now it's going to be J.C. Penney, Burlington. But you could see that there's so much of this area changed. It used to be the King's Pharmacy was over that way. There was a Wetson's over here. And I'm going to show you a bit where the Airport Lounge was, where my dad performed. And Ben Maxick's was over there, the Dorian. So this area had a lot of history to it. So I'm going to take a little walk with me. I'm going to show you where the lounge was and Ben Maxick's. Come on. That's Avenue U right there. And on that corner was the famous Airport Lounge. A lot of famous singers, including my dad. He performed there. So that was one historical area right here. People used to come from all over just to come to the Airport Lounge. Now, in that direction, which I'm going to show you, you're going to walk with me, going that way towards Avenue V, right down that area there, was the famous Ben Maxick's. Now that place was really famous. Judy Garland, Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis, so many famous people performed right down in that area. Come on. So right here we're at Frank's Pizzeria. Now, I've been in this neighborhood, well, I started here maybe since I was 9. This is over like 50 years old. It started with one father and then gave it to his son, and then it was sold eventually, but this is a landmark. People come from all over just to have Frank's Pizzeria. And now, we're on Flatbush. We're going to go across the street to the Oasis Diner. I eat here a lot. This is a great diner with great food. So come on, we're going to go head on in there. Hey, George, what's going on?
How are you? Everything
All right,
good?
I got to tell you, he's the owner's son. He also owns the bar next door. What's the name of the bar again?
Legends Bar.
Great place over here. This is still Marine. That's why I said Marine Park. It's coming back stronger than it ever was. Now, I got to go over and say hi to some love.
How are you?
How are you? So,
Good to see you.
you meet people that she knows me since I was a kid,
That's
and all the
for
stores I
sure.
worked on Avenue S.
You were a bold one.
Our ball, yes. And we're doing City of Churches, and we're doing St. Columba, and I just saw Father Tim. And we were going around the neighborhood. We were up on Avenue S and all the stores when I worked in Met Food and Romano's and the Cleaners and the candy store. I was bringing them back to all the memories of the place.
I remember.
Well, I'm so proud. I'm so happy you watched the show.
Yes.
You guys enjoy your meal. Well, when we come back, we're going to invite two very special ladies that are going to tell us about the history of St. Columba. They know a lot, and they've been around a long time. So we'll be right back. Well, we're back, and I had said at the break that we were going to come back with two very special guests. Now, I'm here with Betty Mineo and Pat Benet. Right? I had said it right?
Yes, you did.
They have been with this church from the very beginning. Am I
Right,
correct?
correct.
Now, Betty, you were the first
Founding secretary.
founding
it's called.
secretary,
Right.
and Pat?
I was one of the original parishioners.
Oh my God. So you guys
Yes.
know everything about this place.
Yes, we do.
So tell me something. What was it like in the beginning here? I mean, we got cell phones now, we got computers.
I know.
How did you do it? Because I know what the church kind of looked like when I
Yeah.
first moved here.
Well, it was in 1967 when, at the time, Father Jolly was commissioned by Bishop McIntaggart to start St. Columba Parish. And he came around the neighborhood. Father Jolly was a very charming man, very easygoing, to bless all the homes in the parish and to advise the people in the area that a new church was coming into being in Marine Park. We were all belonged to either Resurrection, Good Shepherd, or St. Thomas. So as a result, now everybody in the area was very excited about having their own church here in Marine Park. So the people were very, very welcome. And in fact, when Father Jolly came to my home and blessed my home and introduced himself, he asked me, what did I do in business? And I said to him, I did work for Top Chewing Gum, Bazooka Bubble Gum,
Oh, wow. Okay. It's still
as
around.
the executive secretary. And he says, good, you'll be my secretary. And that's the way I was hired.
That's pretty cool.
Which
I
was
like that.
very cool, right? So I said, what? He says, I'll call you, and he did. Called me in around September, put me in a garage up on Kimball Street. They bought a home, and they lived upstairs, he and Father Curry, and downstairs was the garage, and a little chapel was built by the men in the parish. And I don't think the chapel held more than 25 people, but they held daily mass in the chapel in the garage. On Sunday, Mass was held at the Dorian, which was a catering hall.
Yes, yes, we've talked
Right on
about that.
Flatbush Avenue, right where Raymore and Flanagan is
Yes.
located now.
Yeah.
Right? And that was Sunday Mass every Sunday with the smell of beer when we went in on Sunday morning. And also, as Father Jolly associate pastor was a Father Curry who started the CCD program. And everybody brought their little ones to the Dorian on Sunday mornings after the 9 o'clock Mass for CCD. As the parish progressed, I had no idea what to do, but he filled me in, starting the envelope system, starting counting families, having people come into Mass, and as I became indoctrinated into the parish life. I loved every minute of it. I lasted 21 years in that.
That's really nice.
Yes.
That's amazing. Because I
Yes,
said we were
yes.
talking, and I mentioned to you ladies that my wife's family came from here, and I moved in eventually later on. But Auntie Francie around the corner, and Father Ed, which I forgot to mention, Ed Arnold created something for the NASA space program because he used to work for General Electric, and I know his name is up on a plaque down there because they have it there, which I think is pretty cool.
That's
'Cause
wonderful.
there was another man we talked about from this neighborhood. He had passed away. He created something for the space station. What was his name again?
Olenek.
Olenek. I remember the man. He was a
Mr.
very nice man.
Olenek.
Now, we didn't speak to Pat here. Pat, you're one of the first parishioners?
That's
Yeah.
right.
What was it like? I mean, how is the neighborhood changed? What was it like in the beginning? Because I noticed was a lot of boats and swampland.
Yes, it was.
Now, and I heard there would, Father Tim said that I think Deacon's going to explain, you could still hear the water coming in under the parking lot in the back, which is a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
scary. What was it like?
Well, my father had a boat
see?
at the corner of Avenue U and Flatbush Avenue.
Right,
originally,
yes,
here.
sure.
And it was an adventure. How many people in their lives were able to say they established a parish?
Not many. No.
not many. But that was, everything was new and everything, and Father Jolly always encouraged people to get together with dances and luncheons and dinners, and we bonded greatly.
Yeah, it's really it's a great story because I look at the pictures, and I remember as a kid, and I had mentioned that we were shooting outside, where the medical building is now. Aunt Bertha, my wife's aunt,
Yes.
had that whole property, and they had
Yes,
horses
yes.
down there, and that was all
Sharks,
swamp.
right.
The sharks,
Sharks.
yes, the sharks.
Sharks,
You see,
right.
you know the whole thing. You see, you know the
Yes.
family better than me. I
Yes.
mean, a lot of them are still in Garrettson Beach,
Yes.
but I remember, as a kid going, we used to go down to the creek, as we call it, the creek. Now it's a bird sanctuary, or
Yes. And
whatever you
they
want.
also called it Mohawk Island.
Mohawk Island.
Yes.
I mean, the area has changed. It was we were talking about Max. What was the name of the
Max Mayers.
Max
the Mayers.
Max the Mayors, and then there was the
Yes.
big nightclub.
Right.
Yes.
And
Ben Max's.
Ben Max's Town and Country.
Yes,
Right.
and my dad sang there, and then the airport lounge. This is a really great area because swampland basically, or land,
Really?
landfill,
Yes.
became a great marine park. And Marine Park has come back so strong now that I've seen. I wish I still lived in Marine Park,
Yes.
Limo Basin, because I lived on 35th, and I see all the families. We were talking to Father Tim about it, that at Halloween, I've never seen so many kids in a neighborhood. I mean,
Yes.
this area is booming. Talk about the demographics of the church. I know we started with Irish, Czechoslovakian, Italian, Polish.
Right.
There's a whole different area coming in.
Yes,
Exactly.
and it's lovely. It really is a lovely thing to see. One particular family, I remember they brought their little one in a little the little crib baskets, and now this young man comes to mass and he's over 6 feet tall, and already the years have gone by. But we moved into this building in 1970. We were at, up on Kimball Street from 67 to 70, at which point we had to put in pledges, and that's where the parish came in. The people of the parish came in as a community. Everybody joined in. It was wonderful to see. It was an experience in itself. And everybody went around, the men of the parish went around collecting pledges and knocking on doors. And in 1970, we moved in here. Our first church here in 1970 was this way.
I remember this. Yes, I do.
This
Yes,
way,
yes, I do.
And then in 1986, the church turned around and became this in
Well,
1986.
I got married in here. I remember when the church was just this way.
That's right.
And I talked to the deacon and I talked to Father Tim, because I remember how dark, it was very dark in that chapel.
Yes.
And the reason why is because I always remembered the stained glass as the stained glass. And I
Correct.
didn't know there was the same one they moved into here.
Yes.
Because when you go in, I remember only blue, purple, and red. And that explains,
Yes.
because he explained that's the story of St. Columba.
That's true.
So
That's the
that
way
was
it is. That's Father Jolly's idea.
I think that,
The life
well, he
story
was a
of
good
St.
guy. I
Columba.
did remember him.
Yes,
And I was
yes.
talking to him, remember, I missed the bazaars.
Oh, wasn't
yes.
that wonderful?
I had a lot of fun.
Oh,
I
the
really
bazaars
missed the
was great.
bazaars as a kid. I used to go there all. I won a lot too. I got lucky. Not lately, but when I was a kid, I won. Maybe I was a lot more innocent.
They were so successful. We raffled off a car every year.
Yeah.
So
And I-
successful.
I think maybe you could bring it back because the neighborhood's getting stronger. It might be a good idea to bring back the bazaar here because I think a lot of people
it would be great. It would be great. We have to talk to the powers that be now.
Yes, I know. It's like that is like in anything in life, especially in marriage too. You got to check with your spouse. Just can't do things. So it's always you got to talk to somebody.
That's right, the powers that be.
So let me ask both of you, what are your favorite parish memories here? I'll start with you first.
Okay. One of my favorite memories was the absolute cooperation and the enthusiasm of the people in Marine Park. They came to the house on Kimball Street where we started with pots and pans, dishware set, cutlery sets, because the two priests had to set up a house.
Sure.
They had nowhere to, they had been staying over at the neighboring churches in the meantime until they bought that house. People even came with a bottle of scotch for the fathers. I'll
Well,
never forget
okay.
that.
I wouldn't
but
mind that
was
either.
nice. And then, of course, the exciting part was the pledges when we finally got to see where the money was going and the building of this area, this church. When they broke ground in 1969, they broke ground here with Bishop McGoverill. We have a couple of pictures of him in the lot, when this was a lot.
Oh, well, we have to.
Father Jolly was like this. And that was one of the very beginning, and it's one of my fondest memories.
Now, Pat, how about you?
Well, I feel that the parish established friendships that have lasted 50 years or more. You don't have many parishes in the diocese that when the people come in, they get a hug and a kiss, and if they've been missing for a few weeks, they ask, where have you been or how have you been? And when someone dies, everybody goes to the funeral parlor and offers any kind of services they can for them. And we offer, it's multicultural. It offers something for the young, middle-aged, and for the golden age. The youth council is one of the biggest ones in the diocese.
Oh, wow.
It is.
It is. And
is.
They offer all kinds of programs, basketball, baseball, and everyone joins together and establishes a friendship.
Well, ladies, I want to thank you so much for coming on this episode with us. Betty,
Thank
and
you.
Pat.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this very special episode exploring the Marine Park neighborhood around St. Columba, because I sure did. So be sure to join us again next time for part 2. And we'll discover more fascinating history about St. Columba's Church with Father Tim Lambert and some very special guests. Now look, if you'd like more information about our series, you can visit us at netnewyork.tv or write into us at 1712 10th Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11215. You can follow us on Facebook or Twitter. Until next time, I'm Anthony Mangano. Thanks so much for watching, and God bless you.